Hi, my friends. It's time to very quickly go over the TBR that I have set for August and just a little bit about my reading plans, I guess. So, if you're new here, I do 10 books a month on my TBR and I roll over any of the ones that are on my previous month that I didn't get to. I think there's 2 this month, and we set 10 books every month, usually series continuations or just things that are catching my interest because I read quite a bit more than that. I typically read about 30 books a month, but I like to set 10 because it still gives me quite a bit of flexibility and also gives me a little bit more structure where, in particular, series and different reading goals that I'm working on, it gets me to still continue on in those. So we are just very quickly going to go over those books. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I picked them, a little bit into the plot details, not too much. I like to keep these very, very quick and concise, but let's just get to it and talk about these 10 books. Also, if you're new here, I talk a lot about sci-fi, fantasy, and romance books, and would love if you would consider subscribing because we do all kinds of fun bookish things. So, like I said, I do have a few rollovers. I actually have 3. I forgot about one of them, but these are 3 books that I really intended to get to last month, and it just didn't happen, unfortunately. I do notice that I put a lot of really chunky books on my TBR, and sometimes that's to my detriment. Sometimes it's good because it's, I'm actually powering through books that I really want to read. But sometimes very much my detriment because it just ends up resulting in books that I do not finish. So the first one that we're going to talk about that's a rollover is Leviathan Thralls by James S.A. Corey. And this is book 9, aka the final book in the Expanse series, which is a huge sci-fi epic about just interplanetary war, and we're following one crew who's kind of central to this war that's happening and just really involved in all the politics and the resistance and all of these fighting that's going on. So we're on the last book. I am about 50% into this one, so I did make a pretty solid effort and get into this one. But I've been listening to it on audio, and I've been on vacation for the last little bit, so it ended up just being kind of something that I primarily listen to audio when I'm at work, and just kind of being on vacation for the last week and a half, it kind of made it something I just didn't want to pick up. I sometimes try to listen to audio when I do walks, when I do housework, but I've just been more in a musical mood, I guess, so haven't gotten quite to the end of this one, but I'm really enjoying where we're at so far, and I think that this is going to be a very, very good conclusion to the series. Also, I can tell it's going to be emotional, and I don't know how ready I am for that. Book 2 on our rollovers is Memories of Ice by Stephen Erickson, and this is book 3 in Malazan. And I'm saying that this one is going to be my deciding factor about whether or not I go forward with Malazan, or if we consider this, a series that it just isn't for me. So it is this series, it is this huge epic where we're following basically an empire at war and different factions fighting within it. And I've read 2 books. I have enjoyed them, but at the same time, I am incredibly confused about what this world is about and what's happening. And that's kind of, just the issues that people have with Malazan, is that it is not necessarily reader friendly. It's something that you go into and you kind of just, you have to really work to understand it. And that's not necessarily an issue, but I am really struggling with it. And I'm enjoying what I'm reading, but I'm still coming out very confused about kind of what this general world is. Plus, books 1 and 2, they took place in different areas. They were following different characters. So I don't know if book 3 is going to kind of start to tie that together, or if we're going again on another story arc. So this is the one where I decided I'm giving it 3 books. And if I come out of book 3 and I'm still I don't know how I feel, I think I'm just gonna say Malazan is not for me, and maybe in a few years I'll try it again. I'm putting this one off, obviously, because it's a lot. It's confusing. These are dense books, and as interested as I am in it, they're dense. They require a lot of brain power. And maybe when I was on vacation would have been the perfect time for that, but also I kind of just wanted to read silly romances and not think of a single thing. So it just I haven't been in the mood for it. So that one rollover. And then our third rollover is The Shadow of the Wind. And I will say, similar reason, have not picked it up because I think it's it's going to be a little dense. It sounds very interesting. It's about this young boy who discovers that this one author's work has kind of systematically been destroyed, and he might be the last person in possession of his works. And it sounds really, really interesting. I'm intimidated by this one. Something about it kind of scares me, and I didn't want to pick it up last month. So we're going to really, really aim to do it in August. But yeah, I'm excited. I do think I'm going to really, really enjoy it. I just cannot get myself to pick it up so far. So those were the 3 books that we're rolling over, and now we're just going to get into the actual TBR, I guess, or the new book to the TBR. So first off is The Liar's Knot by Emma Carrick, and this is the sequel to The Mask of Mirrors. I do own a copy of this. Probably should have grabbed it before filming this video, but whatever, here we are. This is a fantastical world that I think is very inspired by Venice. I was getting that vibe. It is a fantastical world where we're following a main character who is a con woman. She has found this noble family on a bit of a decline and decided to pose as one of their long lost relatives. There was a member of the family who had been kind of disinherited, and she decides to pose pretending to be her daughter and trying to get in with this noble family to con them and just make a better life for herself. And through that, kind of gets involved in all of these magical plots that are happening within this world, and really involved with this, I guess we could call it like a vigilante within the world who she's very much investigating. Really, really good. Really enjoyed the first book. I thought it was really fascinating. The magic system was interesting. Just everything about it was really, really interesting. So I'm super excited to get to the second book in this series. I'm just noticing also I probably should have powdered my forehead. I am very shiny right now. The next one, Honored Enemy. This is by Raymond Feist, and I am working my way through all of his books and all of his books within the Rift World saga. And I decided this is a month where we are officially putting his books on our TBR. And that is really I'm excited to get to them. I really, really want to continue on in this series because the first book, Magician, I gave 5 stars. And I am curious about the rest of these books. I really, really want to read them. And I looked up a reading order in chronological order, and it's very random. It seems to be going off on random offshoots. It has all of these stories and books from different series all in weird places, and that is how I'm following to read it. So this is book 2 in a different series, not the main series that I started. It's kind of confusing, but this is the one that we're going for next. Do I know much of the plot of this one? No. I'm just going to go in blind, and I'm fine with that. I'm, again, really, really excited to continue on in this world, and really, really interesting world that I don't hear enough people talk about, and I'm curious to know why. It's this Rift world, so it's this one empire who is working on basically taking over other planets and mining them for resources and taking their people into slavery, and we're following somebody who's been unfortunately stuck in this world. So really interesting. The Raven Scholar. I don't know much about the actual premise of this one, so maybe I should bring that up. Okay, reading the description. Let us fly to the Empire of Oran, where after 24 years of peace, the reign of Burson the Brusque has come to an end. In the dizzying heat of midsummer, 7 exceptional warriors, thinkers, strategists, compete to replace him. When one of them is murdered, it falls to Nima Croft, the Emperor's brilliant, idiosyncratic high scholar, to find the killer and fight for the throne. Nima believes she is alone, but we are here to help. All she has to do is let us in. If she succeeds, we will win an empire. If she fails, death awaits her, but we won't let that happen. We are the Raven, and we are magnificent. I've heard some really good things about this one recently, and I just happened to get a copy of it on Libby, so perfect timing. And I really like the sound of it. I like a competition and, a scholar. Interesting. So next we have The Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb. This is book 1 in the Rainwild Chronicles, which is her 3rd series in the Realm of the Elderlings. Again, this is another one. I'm adding 1 book a month for this series. There's, I think, 16 overall, 15, something like that. And we're just slowly making our way through it. I'm excited for this one because actually, I guess this is the 4th series, and there takes place in a similar place as the Live Ship Traders trilogy, which was one of my all-time favorite trilogies that I've read. I think it actually could be one that goes onto my top 10 series that I've ever read. And yeah, really, really excited because similar place within this world. We're following dragons, and I think this one is very, in particular, dragons coming back to life slash trying to find a new place in the world. Very excited. Next is This Inevitable Rune, which is book 7 in the Dungeon Crawler Carl world. And I won't say too much about this one aside from it's lit RPG. We are following somebody who's in a dungeon after not dragons, aliens took over his world, and it's very D&D based, and you have to fight through different levels of a dungeon to be able to escape. When I finish this one, I will officially be caught up in the series, and I am not ready. I am really, really not ready. And I also have a very anxious feeling going into this one because I felt that book 6 had a very melancholy note to it and just a kind of sense of hopelessness that could be showing of terrible things coming our way. So I think that this one might hurt, but I'm really excited. This is quickly becoming another one of my all-time favorite series. King of Ashes by S.A. Cos. This one, I think it's kind of described as like a Godfather-esque, more southern type of story, and I don't know much about it. Don't want to. I've read 2 books by him. They've both been 5 stars, and I don't really want to know too much else about it because that honestly sounds so good to me. Just a Godfather kind of epic. Wonderful, wonderful. Can't wait. And our last edition, this one is more of a fun one, I guess, and it is another series continuation. This is something we are really, really working on finishing series this year. And this one is called Her Rabbit Beasts. It is the sequel to Her Feral Monsters, something like that. But it's basically a wide shoes. And we're following the main character who gets captured and brought to this prison school. And her fated mates all happen to be these rabbit beasts who are really, really cruel and a little unhinged. Really, really enjoyed the first book. And I read it like 3 months ago. I just really, really want to continue on in this series. So I figured the best way to actually get myself to do that is to put it formally on a TBR, you know? So there we go. Those are the 10 books I'm planning on reading in August. Again, I will be reading many, many more than this, but you know, might as well set off some off and just have a few that are planned reads that I'm especially serious I want to continue. So thanks for watching today's video. Again, if you haven't already, would love if you would subscribe. Tell me what you want to read this month as well, because you know I always love ideas. And hopefully I'll see you in a video very, very soon. Bye.